Our show continues to be Grim Reaper. If we talk about you on Saturday night, you are out of work on Sunday. The conversation we had Saturday about James Franklin and then Sunday morning was a wow to me. I understand after I heard Pat Kraft, their athletic director, speak, just reached the point where he felt it had to happen. And I'm not interested in the Penn State view from the outside that they're crazy to get rid of a guy that's done well. And they don't need to justify how they feel like they want to do this. It's their program. They don't have to explain to the outside world why they feel that they should aspire to be a team that takes the last big step. It's the hardest step to make. You felt like you wanted to do it. I said, you're going to look under the couch cushion and find $50 million. Whoever they got that had the dough had the dough. That conversation isn't as interesting to me. I just think about this as someone that knows James, or maybe I should say better, I knew him. Because when James was here at Maryland as a young, hot, up-and-coming, big-time recruiter, offensive coordinator, coach in waiting, then a new AD came in, and then that blew up and he left. But Maryland fans rooted for him when he went to Vandy. It's like awesome to see him. Vandy wasn't favored against LSU as they are this week when he went there. And you rooted for the guy. Then he gets to Penn State, and then you don't root for the guy anymore. Because now it's like it's like an ex that you wish the best, and then they marry someone that you don't like. And then you can't.
And you got to see him every holiday.
And you got to sit there and look at him and think, am I happy that you're happy? I'm sure not. No, I'm not. You don't wish this, though, on him. And that's the difference.
Oh.
I have a connection that goes way back. And this is just a reminder that there are human beings on the other side of this. His little girls were little girls when they went there. Now they're grown-up people. And this is where the Penn State fans say, boo-hoo, he's paid $50 million. That's not the point. Yes, he gets his money. But we're all creatures of habit. Steve and I come in Tuesday, recap stuff, have some yucks. Then we get ready to do whatever. I got to do a show on Thursday. Steve's going to get on a plane. They're going to go to Georgia for game day. And then we do it again. Well, for a dozen years, he's gone into the Lash building in State College, and he's gotten ready for the game. And he sent out his tweet about Northwestern, and 1-0 together, and this and that. Then you wake up this Tuesday, and you're not getting ready for Iowa because the wheels have come off the routine of what you've done. And you could make this point better than me. But the idea that the fans that are pissed off giving him the bird, you think you want it more than that guy? You think you've invested more than that guy? You haven't. You haven't. It's been the man's life and the life of the young men that are out there doing it. And as a guy that did it, I'm just interested in this your perspective of just the human element that gets lost. We understand what fandom is. We understand the passion that place has. But I just thought Sunday morning, yesterday, now I think of the guy I know, and I feel for the emotion and what he has to process, even though his bank account has a bunch of money and you're going to say, I take that money. You don't know anything about that part of it because you're never going to live it. We lose the idea that there's a human in the middle, don't we?
Absolutely. The sad thing is watching him walk off the field.
He knew.
You could tell. He had a feeling, let's just say. And, sees his daughter at the beginning of the tunnel. He knows what's in that tunnel. I've seen what's in that tunnel. Penn State fans, you know what's in that tunnel. That represents your school.
That hostility.
That is there multiple times. That's your school. Those are a mixture of people that represent your school. And to see that is just absolutely brutal. He knew exactly what was happening on that walk. You saw him pause, let it go. He was going to do it by himself. And you hear what is being said. But that's what you saw, that's what you hear, and that's what represents you. And that's what sucks about it. I mean, being there 2 weeks, what was it, 15 days
It's essentially
before the end of the Northwestern game.
Yep.
So it was 3 games. And they were on the cusp of possibly being the number 1 ranked team if they won that game, up 7 in overtime.
Incredible.
And then you have the numbers of, I said before last week, people were already, what's going to happen, and no one was predicting they were going to lose to Northwestern. I said, he, at least in this 12 years, has earned the right to try and get it right with games at Columbus and Indiana coming in. And then Saturday happens, and then Aller gets hurt, and he gives the news that he's going to be out. I get I'm not as surprised as I'm more surprised at how many people are surprised.
Yeah.
Because you felt it when you talked to people there. It was split since he got that big contract, and I think the social media stuff got old, and they wanted results, and they have everything. I've said it. They have no problem telling you how much they spend, and they're in the process overdoing the stadium. They got the NIL figured out. They follow the Michigan-Ohio State. We're going to keep our good guys. We're going to match compensation for other schools trying to come get our guys, and we're going to bring guys in, and we're locked and loaded for a championship this year. That was the expectation.
Yep.
And they're 0-3
in the league.
In the Big Ten.
Correct.
So to make this change now, I get it. It's a highly thought of place. There's plenty of people that will come after that job. I don't see how somebody wins as many games as he does if you're going to give him 12 years. That's what's crazy.
2 things can be true simultaneously. That there's no denying, and most reasonable Penn State people don't object to or try to counter this. He took you from out of post-Paterno and all of it that was to being nationally relevant, being 1 drive against Notre Dame away from playing for the national title. That's what he did. He also failed in big spots against the biggest teams.
Mm-hmm.
That's also true. And I think I told you the story. I was down in Florida, and I saw a Penn State guy and started talking, and we were asking, and I asked him about, it's always the Sean Clifford thing, and I was like, hey, he's pretty good. Like, he can't beat good teams. And I said, well, look at his record. Like, look what you've done. He's like, well, we play for championships at Penn State. And I looked at him and I said, do you? And I said, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I said, look, I go to Maryland. You've got the ultimate hammer over us. I'm just asking you, how old a guy are you? He's in his 20s? I said, you haven't played for a championship in your life. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? You have this aspiration to be that, and you have the wherewithal, the commitment financially to want to live in that space, but you haven't. So to tell me that that's who you are, no, you think that's what you are, but you haven't been that. James got him close. Now, you could look at Bama and say they went and got Saban. I made fun of them all on the tarmac going, look at these hillbillies. Are y'all crazy? And as it turns out, they failed Nick Saban because they didn't greet him properly. They should have greeted him with the entire town to carry him through the streets because of what he did. Kirby Smart's done the same thing, right? Maybe James was the Coach Richt at Georgia situation, close but not quite. And if they can find their Kirby Smart, fine. But those are 2 examples of teams that wanted to be more than they were and then got there. There are far more that have spent their time in that Tennessee space. Close. You've done it in the past. Not quite. Miami lately, right? Florida State got there. But it's really hard to find that guy that's the get you over the hump guy because that getting over the hump's the hardest part. Mm-hmm. I don't blame him for trying. I just think that the notion that you can because you want to, that's just not how it works because there's far more teams that wanted to that still haven't found that magic person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's why I agree. I understand both sides.
Exactly.
Like if I'm the AD, I got you the best defensive coordinator in the sport, made him the highest paid. Kotelnicki was the guy, the offensive. We matched every NIL player. We kept the players you wanted to play and brought players in. We have a new stadium expansion going up. And you're 0-3 in the Big Ten. So I get it now. The issue I have is everybody has their wish list. In this day and age now with the playoff and how long it goes, I don't know how you're getting a coach that goes to the playoff.
You can't because there's no way you can live in the midst of it and answer the questions about it. That I can speak on as a guy who last year, when my basketball team that I root for was in the middle of a run and our coach had to deal with those questions, it doesn't go well. It's not an easy conversation for your coach to have in advance of, say, playing a quarterfinal playoff game and everyone thinks you're going to leave to go to Penn State. You're not going to be able to answer those questions satisfactorily. Or you just have to sit there and lie. You're right. You'd have to go find somebody that's not in that space, and you probably want someone that's in that space.
Correct. And then I narrow it down even more. You have to have somebody that's been a head coach.
Penn State?
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
So that's
someone who's done it. I mean, Penn State's not going on. This is not a training wheels gig.
No.
You need someone that's demonstrated that they could do it.
So that narrows it down even more.
I agree. That's why we both agree that I understand the Penn State move. I think of the guy that I know, and I have empathy for him as a human, and having to walk into the face of that fury. Mad people, they're going to say he's getting his money. You're right, but he's a human. His daughters are there. I think of my kids. They're emotional as hell. I'm trying to think if I walked off after a show and my kids were with me in Jacksonville. And we got to walk off that set and walk through a tunnel, and there's people waiting there to scream, "You suck!" My kids would dissolve. And me saying to them, "Hey, it's all right, Dad got a bunch of money." That doesn't mask the fact that there's humans involved in this. But with Aller hurt and with games they're going to continue losing, it was going to mushroom cloud. So they had to do what they're doing. And they said yesterday that the young men that are here deserve your support. They're right. And I think the Penn State family will wrap their arms around these guys because there's a good team there. I don't know what their backup quarterback situation is now, but you should support them. And they will. That's what that fan base has always done. It's just amazing to say what we said on Saturday night. 3 weeks ago, you were there.
Oh.
And Nick Saban's sitting there in a Nittany Lion outfit with James. And we showed that picture on Sunday. I said, this is 3 weeks ago. All the hope of everything was there. And 3 weeks later, he's not the head coach at Penn State. It's an astounding turn of events. And I get it. I just like to try to remind people that there's a bit of humanity, a bit of empathy isn't the worst thing to have.